Welcome to this broadcast from Pioneer Place Ministries. In the next few minutes, you're going to learn how you can live your life without fear. My name is Daniel, and let's dive right in. You know, throughout the Bible, we're told over and over again verses that say, "Fear not," and "Do not be afraid." Dozens and dozens of times we're told to fear not, that we don't need to be afraid. But have you noticed that even the leaders of our churches and other religious groups use phrases that just don't quite fit with that? For instance, you'll hear things that say, "I'm worried that," or "I'm concerned that," "I'm afraid I'll have to," "It's making me lose sleep at night." "Yes, I'm a little anxious about it. It's stressful." Well, these words, those are a dead giveaway of what's actually happening deep inside the person. And have you ever thought about this? And I say this completely without judgment, but why is it that so many clergy members and the members of their congregations who listen to them are taking antidepressants? Well, the big elephant in the room is fear. Fear can be both conscious and subconscious. So the question really comes down to, how can we do like Jesus said and fear not? How do we get to the place of living our life without fear? Well, fear comes from ignorance, and ignorance is darkness, and it comes from lack of understanding. Understanding is light. In other words, when you don't have light, you're in the dark, and you're afraid. And here is a really interesting question. Could it be that not having understanding of the Bible words and phrases that we've been reading and quoting for most of our lives, could that be one of the key reasons why we have not eliminated fear in our lives? Over there in the book of Acts, you see in chapter 4, verse 13, let me quote the verse to you. It says, "Now when they saw the boldness of Peter and John, and perceived that they were unlearned and ignorant men, they marveled, and they took knowledge of them that they had been with Jesus." So, how do we live boldly? Well, here's how you do it. We have to know for ourselves, not parroting the words of others, if we want to eliminate fear and live our life boldly. In a court of law, second-hand testimony is inadmissible. You can't say, "Well, I heard Sally say that she heard Bill say this and that." No, you have to actually have heard Bill say this and that. So, first-hand evidence is the standard. Why would we live our lives and our walk with God by any less of a standard than that? So we're going to focus on getting understanding. And when you do that, fear automatically disappears out of your life. Have you ever walked into a dark room and you fumbled around and you found the light switch and you turned it on and the light flooded the room? Now here's my question. Did the darkness stay around and argue with the light, saying, "No, I am not leaving. We're going to just stay here. I'm not leaving"? No. In the presence of light, darkness automatically disappears. So you don't need to focus on what you don't know, what you don't have understanding of. Simply pursue understanding, and automatically the areas of ignorance in your life will flee from your life. At Pioneer Place Ministries, we focus on people moving beyond knowledge and beyond wisdom to a place of understanding. Did you know that there is a difference between knowledge and wisdom and understanding? It's profound, the difference in that. It's the difference between information, revelation, and realization. That's a whole other subject, and we'll talk about more about that. But I'll give you some examples of some Bible phrases that people don't really understand. For example, what exactly does it mean to, quote, worship God? We say that phrase, we read that phrase. Well, worship, the word worship means to acknowledge a thing as being real or true, to give credence to something. And we know that the word God, well, God doesn't have truth. According to the Bible, God is truth, or maybe better said, reality. So let's put that together. To worship God means to acknowledge truth. Did you know that? You don't have to get your body in a certain position on a bended knee with your head facing downward and your eyes facing down. And it's not a certain kind of song you sing in a church. Worshiping God means acknowledging truth and implementing it in your life. Here's another example. What does the Bible phrase mean in Revelation chapter 21? What does it mean when it says, "A new heaven and a new earth"? That's what John said. "I saw a new heaven and a new earth." Well, the first question I always had was, what was wrong with the old heaven? I thought that's where God was. Why would he have to replace it? Clearly, we didn't have understanding of that. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, this can change the way you look at the Bible. With understanding, we know that a new heaven and a new earth is what God means when he says, you have a new mind and a new body. He said, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. So we're told in the scriptures in Proverbs 4:7, get wisdom, and with all of your getting, get understanding. So here's the best news. I was told when I was younger, there's just some stuff you're just not going to know until after you've died and gone to heaven. Well, guess what? You don't have to wait until after you've died and gone to heaven to get understanding and thereby eliminate fear. God wants you to have understanding. He wants to give you himself. God is understanding if you ask and expect to receive it. There's so much more we could share about this subject. Thank you for listening. Please check out our website and the other information you find here. Thanks so much.